So my name is Cristian Nicola. I'm from Beclean, and I'm teaching computer science.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steliana Măuginian. I'm a math teacher at United High School from Sibiu.
Good evening. I'm Mircea Nistor. I'm from Hunedoara. It's a town in Transylvania. I'm teaching physics, and I want to learn something useful for our online lessons.
I will use the chance also to introduce myself. I'm Anastasia. I'm not a teacher, but I'm a school coordinator by Lectures Without Borders. And we are happy to co-organize this webinar together with Natia Print Education. And we are happy that you have shared with us your Friday evening.
So good evening for all those who are trying to connect right now. We try to present ourselves, what we teach, which domain, and from which city, country we are, because we expect tonight people from Romania and not only. So the teachers invited tonight from Romania are from the robotics teams and not only. The project developed by Nația prin Educație, and with Anastasia and Mikhail we'll find tonight things about how the classes can be more interactive and interesting for students. So I think you will have all of you the chance later on to introduce. Mikhail, if you want to.
We want to start?
Yes, please.
Very good. Maybe first technical question. Can you make breakout rooms in Zoom?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Maybe at some point you can make me a co-host so that I can do it just to show something.
Yes, you can share whatever you want. You can.
I can share. This is true, but I cannot do breakout rooms myself.
Okay, good.
If you make me a co-host, then I will be able to do it.
Yes, you are co-host.
Very good. Yes, now, very good. Thank you. So should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now I can. Okay. But you can still put the people to the to our group from the waiting room. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to see all of you because there are so many teachers. I didn't expect that there are so many, so I'm really happy. And I hope you can find something useful out of what I do. So maybe I will shortly introduce myself. My name is Mikhail Khotyakov. I'm from Russia. I grew up in St. Petersburg. Now I live in Germany, in Munich. I'm a mathematics teacher. I studied mathematics as a science. And I was also the co-founder of Lectures Without Borders. This organization we want also to present to you. And today I will speak about engaging students online. So I will speak about online, but I think also that something can be useful also in offline classes. And I'm planning to talk or to do something for like 40, 50 minutes so that afterwards you can ask your questions. And I don't have a lot of experience in giving public lectures, so maybe it's even better at some point that you just ask some particular questions, maybe I can answer. And I will also give you my email address so that we can exchange. Maybe the first thing, can I ask most of you to turn on the camera? I understand there are always people who don't want to do it. It is okay. But still, I ask most of you for whom it is okay to turn on the camera, because then we can see each other. Many things. I see that a lot of people do it. Thank you very much. This is really, really helpful. When we are in a classroom, I see the children. I can see what they are doing. I can react, you know it. On Zoom, it's always difficult, but still, it is very important. So thank you very much again. Thank you for all who did it. You know probably the picture. I didn't find it, but you know the picture, the ground school, like the 7, 8 years old. Everyone is, I have my cat, here is my dog, here is everyone is happy sharing the video. But for teenagers, it's always black screen and the teacher alone. And the teacher trying to say, hello, no one is answering. I experience the same. When I teach teenagers, it's always difficult. But let's hope for the better. Okay, so let us start. Can you see my screen? Can you please do something like this or nod? Anything would be helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So, how to make more engaging classes online. I think online was not there, but it's about online. And if you see it below, I put our logo. Maybe I can put it here if you don't see it because the cameras Lectures Without Borders is our organization. And now I will ask.
Your mic is off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but thank you very much. So when we are a small group, when I have like 10 students, I don't ask them to turn off the micro because it's better, even if it's something. But now may I ask you to turn off the microphones, and still I will ask a lot of questions. So please just show somehow that you want to say, or just turn on the micro and say something because there are so many of us. Okay, thank you very much. So, can someone tell me what do we see on the picture?
It's a ship.
It's a ship. How many of them do you see here?
Maybe 2. A big one and a small one.
Exactly. What else do you see?
A sea. Clouds.
Seagulls.
Seagulls. Yes, there are beautiful birds. What else?
Sky.
Please tell something more.
Cables.
Cables. Yes, cords. Maybe I don't know also an English word for this.
Cable.
Cables. Okay.
Birds. Now write down 2 birds.
2 birds here. Very good.
The smoke of the small ship engine.
Yes.
Horizon.
Horizon. Very good.
Yes.
The sea.
The sea. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Very good. So we see a lot of things. Of course, I teach mathematics, so there is something with geometry. So this guy, he wants to go away. He wants to swim away. But the big ship doesn't want to go away. And you see the rope. This rope is below. What can he do? How can he swim away?
If he untied the rope.
Yes, very good. He unties the rope. You mean somewhere here? To untie it here, Or what do you mean? Okay, I will tell it is possible, but you know, it is done very good. So it takes a lot of time. It takes like maybe 1 hour to do it once, and then you have to do it back.
We need a topological miracle.
A topological miracle, very good. Indeed. So you have this rope here, and it is closed, but this one is below. Is it possible to make the one below free without removing this one? Because removing is dangerous. If you remove, the big ship will flow away. I can give you a hint. It is possible. It is really possible, just topologically, to remove this rope without removing that one. Anyone?
Yes.
Hello. Please tell us.
A pencil. Cum pot desena ceva?
He asked how he can show us something. He wants to color himself, to draw himself.
Ah, I see. So normally it is possible if you do comment above, there is like a pen, and if you click on this pen, then you can comment also on the picture. I allow it.
Aveți dreptul, dacă dați click pe acel stilou, puteți să-l mișcați și dumneavoastră.
Nu merge. Not working.
Not working. Okay.
No.
So maybe may I make a jump back? So you see, I tried to show you how I'm working with children. Ah, now it works. Yes, please do it.
Ok. Deci avem așa. Nu. No. No work.
Okay. Can I continue? Again,
Okay.
I wanted to tell the following thing. Of course, we are now 60 adult people, so I don't want to spend your time on this. But I wanted still to show you that when I'm working with children, that I ask a question, I give myself time. Sometimes it's 3 minutes, sometimes it's 5 minutes, but I wait. If I ask a question, I wait. Of course, I can feel that maybe someone is not ready, or maybe the question was too difficult, but I have to let them know that I'm earnest. When I ask a question, I want an answer, even some answer. So just be free to make a break and to wait. Maybe you're waiting 2 minutes, maybe you're waiting 5 minutes, but this is important. What I would do next? So we would discuss this in a small group. It is often easier. Then I will show the answer. Probably someone will come to this answer before, but you can see. So basically you have one rope above, one rope below. You can put the rope inside and then put it outside, and then it's away, and then it's done. Can you show me if it's okay or it's difficult?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. What would I do with the children? And now I can tell you, these are 8-year-old children. So they are grade 2, 8-year-old. I would ask, okay, can you please memorize it? Just think about it for a long time. Think about it for a long time. And now I go back. And now imagine how you are doing it here. And then I give again 1 minute for the children. They have 1 minute to imagine in their head. And then I ask, so did you imagine? Did it work? Please show me. Okay, thanks. If it's difficult, then we discuss it again. And then I can say, okay, now look here. Was it the same? Did you remember it in the same way or was it different? So think about it again and then do the most important thing most mathematicians do. The most important thing most mathematicians do. Look for so long until you see the answer. So just look at it so long until you see the answer. Okay. Let's go further. How many cuts should I do to have 4 pieces?
3 cuts.
2.
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, you know this. To make 4 pieces, you need 3 cuts because the last one will remain. Okay, but what about the public?
What about longitudinal cuts?
Ah, okay. Also a good thing. Of course you can do this.
Only 2 cuts.
Yeah, only 2. Yeah. Okay, but this is not the 8 grades. The 8 years old wouldn't ask this. So my experience is they never ask it. But thank you. But the next question: how many cuts you need here to make 4 pieces?
2.
Well, 2, but let's say you have a very short knife. Your knife is very short.
4 we need.
Yes, you need 4. You need 4. What is the difference? Why do you need here 4 and here 3 are enough?
Because of the shape.
We are depending by tools.
It has no edges, no margins.
No ends, yes, it's closed. Yes. Very good. We go further. So let's look at the first row. Do you see any low? If you see any low, tell me what are the next numbers.
11.
13, 15, and so on.
Very good. So these are odd numbers. What about the second row?
35.
35.
40.
40, 45, and etc.
Very good. It's the row of 5. And what is with the last row?
49.
Aha. Which row is it?
Plus 7.
7 row. You know, for the second grade, it's not that easy. For the second grade, they have to think about it. And some of them know the answers. Okay, let's go further. How about this row?
1, 6, yes.
Okay, and then?
Again,
1, 7.
Okay, so you are much faster. For the second grade, it takes about 5 minutes to discuss this, or maybe even more. You have to show 1, 1, 1, and then you show 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. Next row.
I'm computer science teacher, so.
11.
11, 9.
11, 9.
7.
7. Very good. Again, for children, it is much more difficult than another way around. And now we come to this row. Computer science teacher, please don't tell us.
36.
36, okay. Let's ask some literature,
49.
maybe some literature teachers or history teachers.
Challenging for history teachers.
I confirm as a history teacher.
What are these numbers? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36.
It's like 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 in between.
Ah, very good.
I'm a history teacher.
This is true. This is plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9. So what would be the next one?
11, 13.
13.
And so what is the number?
49.
49. The next one?
Plus 15.
Plus 15, maybe.
64.
Very good. Well, the mathematics and computer science teachers know that from now I can tell a story which will last for maybe half an hour or even more, because let's do the following. Let me remove this to make it free. Okay, let me actually, I stop it and then I show it again, because this is, yes, now it's better. So of course, what I can show here and what our history teacher found out is a very important mathematical fact, because these are square numbers. And you know, if we start with square number 1, but then we add dots to have a new square, we have 4. Then we add other dots to have a new square. We have 9, but we added 5. And then we add 7, and we have 16. And then we add 9, and we have 25, and so on. So of course, this is a long story, and we can work about it. Actually, it's enough for 1 hour to work with the children.
Square numbers.
Square numbers. And then I'm very proud with the children. I always would write it down so that they see it. These are square numbers. Okay. Very good. Thanks for this. We would continue. Anastasia, may I ask you to read the chat, and if it is something important, then just to interrupt me.
Yes, sure.
Because it would be otherwise.
We have a question from YouTube there. Do teachers need to know psychology in order to make interesting classes?
Okay, let's make the question session at the end. So now maybe one. I think it would be the last thing which I do in mathematics today. Well, not the last, of course, but the last now. So the following story. As you see, there is a fire. For one line will burn in not 1 second, let's say in 1 minute. So one line will burn in 1 minute. You burn it from both sides at the same time. How many minutes it will last until everything is away, everything is burned? And again, I first ask the history, the literature, the Romanian teachers.
6.
6. Okay, so we have one version would be 6 minutes.
3 seconds.
3 minutes.
3.
Other versions?
3 minutes.
3 seconds we have in the chat.
3 seconds. Well, it's a minute.
Minute. 3.
3. Okay, well, of course it's 3, because this will burn in the first minute. Yeah, all of these will burn in the first minute. In the second minute, you will have from here all of this. This will be the second minute. And in the third, you will have the rest. But believe me, for small children, it's a difficult task. They all compute all the lines that say something like 25, or I don't know how many it is. So it takes a time. But why I'm doing it all with you? So first of all, I think it's fun. I like this, so maybe you can enjoy it also. But I'm doing it with you to discuss some of the principles which at least I use in my teaching, especially online. And the first principle which I have is you have to adjust your level. So in my experience, and I teach mathematics normally for children who like mathematics, so I do some additional classes also. But still the levels of children are very, very different. So even very good children, they still are very, very different. And my experience is always, it doesn't work when it is too difficult. So I always try to do it more difficult because I want to push my children to be better. But I always see I need to adjust my level. So it should be something which is suitable for them. And then the other thing, which is also very important, children love pictures. So you have to have a lot of pictures. Even I know it from myself. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 90s in St. Petersburg, and I had a good education with a lot of teachers who came from university, and we were used to lectures, you know, this Soviet style of teaching, which I love very much, and I learned a lot from it. But still, you have always to make it simpler. If you are in the online mode, and you know you lose a lot of children because they are tired, they turn off their cameras, maybe they are not there, so you have to catch them somehow, and children love pictures. I think for me it was really important. You make a lot of tasks with a lot of pictures, and then it works. Then they are all active. Well, not all, but many of them, they are active, and they take part in the class. And the last thing, also I wanted to emphasize today, online, you will only be able to teach less than offline. And don't worry, you know, I take part in a lot of discussions in the Russian society in Moscow and in St. Petersburg. There are a lot of teachers who are very caring, have a lot of experience, like 30, 40 years of experience of teaching, and very successful teaching. And all of them say, online, you only are able to teach less. Unfortunately, but it is important to understand it. Of course, maybe some of you are very talented, and you can still somehow play with the students so that they are in the same speed as they are offline. But my experience shows it is always less. So it's important not to worry about it. It's really important to say, okay, I'm still a good teacher. I'm still trying my best, even if it is less than offline.
It's okay, but you can have more students.
What do you mean by more students?
You teach a class, one online hour, and you can spread then that hour to thousands of students.
Okay, of course, yes. You mean that you can make a video and then you show it to the others? Yes, of course. I'm speaking more about day-to-day classes, or maybe I'm teaching a lot once a week, because I did do these extra classes in mathematics, so once a week. And I cannot say that I'm doing like a half of the normal, but maybe I'm doing 70%. This would be, I think, a reasonable number, like 70% of what would be done other than that. Yes, and then another thing, probably all of you know it, and this is not an advertisement, but still, I really recommend it very much to have a tablet. Well, it's simple. It's not an iPhone or something. It's just a tablet with a pen where I can write everything. But the first months I didn't have it, and it was much more difficult. So probably all of you use it, but still I wanted to mention it. This is very, very useful. This costs about 50 euros, and I think your schools should spend this money to give you. Okay, I also teach Russian literature a bit onto a small group, so I wanted to show you something not only in mathematics. Are there some literature teachers?
They are.
Yes,
Anna?
yes, me also, Eka.
Okay. I think also not only literature teachers, but a lot of you probably have read something of Dostoyevsky.
Yes, we did.
Maybe even some of you read Idiot of Dostoyevsky. Yes, I like this book very much. And recently I discussed it with my students. I have a very small group, but you know, these are Russian children who live in Germany, who were born in Germany. So probably they have both parents are Russian, but still they live and go to a German school. So their Russian is not that perfect. So reading Idiot is a challenge. It is really a challenge. Also for Russian children in Russia, it is a challenge. So I wanted to help them. And for the first class, I prepared the following, and no one read anything. So it was just the first class to introduce, and this will be in Russian. So maybe some of you know Russian, but it's not important that it is in Russian. I will tell you what I'm doing. So also the format is different because actually I printed it out. It was an A4 in the format. So I want my children to know the name. He is Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoyevsky. And when he lived, well, at least it's the 19th century. For me, it's already good for the children I have. But of course, you have the 5 elephants, you know, these 5 elephants of Dostoyevsky. So I put them all in their chronological order. And then, of course, it's nice, you know, to discuss, dear children, you know, at that time, there were no books. So normally the books would appear in a journal. So they would be like chapter per chapter, or maybe 5 chapters. Someone will read it in journal. And then this is how the book looks in the first edition of 1874. Here is some picture, which Dostoevsky did. And here is this picture of Hans Holbein, of the dead Jesus, which is very, very famous and very important for the book. So I will just show it at the beginning. They don't know what it is about, but I will show it. So the Holbein, it's interesting. And then I will turn to another one, putting all the characters, well, all the important characters in the order. Because reading a Roman, it's 600 pages, you know, for children, it's also very difficult to just remember who is there. So you just need to say that, okay, there is, well, the most important person is this one, yeah? Is this Lev Nikolaevich Mishkin, who is the idiot, calling him. And then there is this Rogozhin, the other one, yes, the anti-character, if you can say this, and so on. And then there is this woman, the femme fatale, Nastasia Filipovna, who is, of course, also very important. And then there are 2 families. There is one family, and then there is another family. But the names of the characters are also very important. For example, Rogozhin is Parfen, and Parfen in Greek is Parthenon. You know, it's a maid, so a young woman. So it's very interesting because this is a very strong character, but still his name is Parthenos, and so on. Of course, I spent like maybe 1 hour with this picture. And then what be also quite interesting, everything is happening in St. Petersburg. I myself, I come from St. Petersburg, so I love the city, of course. And still, I think telling about Russia, it's important to tell about the city. And then you say, you know, the whole Roman is happening in the center. So this is a plan from 1849, and everything is happening in the center. And then there is some suburb, which is called Pavlovsk, where a lot of story also happens. And then, you know, in the very middle of St. Petersburg, there is a square where one family lives. And on the square, there is this very big cathedral, which is a very nice cathedral, and so on. So you can tell about this. So that the children already have some feeling of where they are. So why I'm telling this? Adjust the level. Of course, I want all the students to read the whole Roman in 1 week, and then we can speak about it. But this doesn't work. My students need 4 months to read a Roman of 600 pages. So adjust the level. Teenagers also love pictures. I'm sorry I'm telling this very, very, very simple stuff, but for me, it was always easy to see this. Teenagers also love pictures, maybe even more, because they are used to text, they have to read, they have to do exercises, they have to compute square equations in a square. But if you give them pictures, they're happy. And also maybe also for literature teachers, what I learned in the last times, reading loud is also good for teenagers, not only for kids. They like it very much. All ages like when you read loud. So, don't worry. Yes, please.
Yeah, that is reciting, right? That's one of the methods, how to read out passage by passage, analyzing, comparing, or so on and so on. That's really a good method. It works well.
By the way, for the literature teachers, you probably know there is a French author, Daniel Pennac. He wrote a book, Comme un roman, like a roman, about reading. Maybe it would be very useful. I know actually that all Romanian people know French very good. So maybe you can read it even in original, but I'm sure it's also translated. It's a very, very nice thing. Okay. And now maybe you're wondering that I'm telling you only all this obvious stuff. But let me also introduce you to some methods which maybe you don't know. And this method is team games. Team games we will practice now for the rest of, I think, for 15 minutes more. It will take some time, so please be patient about the technical problems. So I will tell you about two games. One is called Carousel and the other is Regatta. It came from the mathematical world. So I learned it when I was myself a child and I was learning mathematics, but you can use it in any subject. Since we don't have a lot of time, let me maybe focus on Carousel, which we also practice. And if we have time at the end, I will tell you about Regatta. They are quite similar. So in a carousel, what is happening? We will build teams. I see now we are 55 people, plus myself. So when we are 55, I would build 11 teams, each one with 5 children. Well, children, in your case, teachers. The best way, it would be 3 children. So if you have a class of, let's say, 24, you just do 8 teams, and it's perfect. If you have 30, well, you can maybe make, it's difficult to manage a lot of teams. So if there are 6 to 8 teams, it's very good. If it's like 10 or 12 teams, it's more difficult. But still, you can make also big teams. Well, it depends. Once we are in the teams, I will divide you in breakout rooms. So in the room, you will be only with your team. And you are a team, so you have to solve exercises. And then I will send you a link in the chat. With this link, you will see a Google document. A Google document where you can easily edit. So we will communicate through this Google document. Okay, let me show you actually, so that it's not moment. Yeah, actually, before we start, I will show you an example because I played it with children. I played a lot. It works really very good. Just a second. Yes, actually, this way would be much better. So a Google document looks like this. You will see this page, and you will be able to write here something. So I can write here. You can see it, yeah? Just a moment, because it's important. So is there someone who doesn't see it?
No, we can see it.
Okay, very good. I just read a message that when I'm talking, there is an echo. Is it now better or it's still a bad echo? Is it okay now?
It's better. Yes, it's much better.
Okay, very good.
Sound is good for me.
Okay, thank you. So you will have the first exercise. You will see only the first one. It won't be this exercise, it will be another one. but you will see only, and then you will see nothing. So here was the exercise to compute the area of this triangle. If you know, this is 2 square centimeters. So what you do is you write answer, then you write here your answer, for example, 8 square centimeters. Once you write an answer, I will correct it. Again, be patient. I have 12 teams. So at some point I will see your answer, and you will get 3 points if it's correct, or you will get nothing if it's not correct. So this is a game where only the answer is important. I don't need any explanation. And since you are a team, of course, you can see here, you can write, hello, I think it is 5, and then you discuss it. And then at some point you write the answer. So I don't care what you write before. You can write whatever you want. I just care when there is an answer. And I can give you an advice. It's better if one of you will share the screen and will do all the work, and the rest will just think, because it's better than when everyone will be in the document. Okay, so the game is following. Why it is called carousel? It's called carousel because when you get 3, you get another task. Well, you get another task anyway. Even if you don't solve it correct, you will get another task. And then you give another answer, and if it's correct, then you get +4 points. Not 3, but 1 point more. And you get another one. If it's correct, you get +5 points. You get another one. If it is correct, well, it was a very difficult one, so I wrote super. And then you get +6, and so on. So every time you are correct, you get 1 more. If you are here not correct, so you are here bad, so you will keep the 7 points, but the next one will be not +6, but +3, because you just drop down. Well, it's just a technicality, but children like it. Also, teenagers like it because it's like a challenging thing. So you get +3, and then it will be 10. And then you grow again. And 6, well, the last technicality, the 6 will not be burned. So once you get to +6, it will stay there. And then you get +7, +8. And if you make a mistake, then next time you get +6, not +3. So it's important to come to the 6. Any questions? Very good. So normally I would divide you now and will let you wait until I will come to your group and send you a link. But we are so many that you will have to wait for a long time. So I want to give you an exercise while you are waiting. And this will be again a bit of mathematics. So, but now I need, of course, the mathematics teacher, they will maybe understand it better and faster, but everyone will understand it. A primitive number is a number with a prime sum of digits. So the first question, what is a prime number? Give me an example of a prime number.
2.
7.
3, 7, very good. Bigger numbers.
13.
13.
11.
41.
31.
97.
97. Very good. So you know what a prime number is. Now, a primitive number, and it is not a common name. So it's just a name from an exercise. Don't tell your student that it's really always called this. A primitive number is a number with a prime sum of digits. So let's take the number 31. This is a prime number, but the sum of digits is 3 plus 1, which is 4. Sum of digits is 4, and 4 is not a prime number. So this is not a primitive number. Well, 7 is of course a primitive number because the sum of digits is also 7. 3 is of course a primitive number. Is 13 a primitive number?
No.
No.
What is the sum of digits?
4.
Okay, exactly. Is 11 a primitive number?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Is 97 a primitive number?
No.
No, because sum of digits is 16.
60.
Yes, very good. So some of you understood it. Very good. Now we go one step further. I think the mathematics teachers know it very well, but for the others, I want to remind it. When is a number divisible by 3?
sum of digits is divisible by 3.
Exactly. So if I take a huge number, 2,472, sum of digits is here 6 plus 9 is 15. 15 is divisible by 3, so 2,472 also. If I take a huge number, 5,005, sum of digits is 10. It is not divisible by 3, so this is also not divisible by 3. Well, we all learned it in school, so I think now also everyone remembers it. And the last question, which is also very, very simple, but I wanted to remind, what is a 4-digit number? Can some literature teacher give me an example of a 4-digit number?
Thousand.
Yes, very good. 1,000 is a 4-digit number because you have 4 digits.
Negative of positive.
Ah, okay, very good. Positive, please. A natural 4-digit number. Well, you know, you don't say 4-digit for not a natural number. So please, more interesting than 1,000.
2021.
2021. That's true. Okay. So, and now comes the question, which is your first question. So please write it down, everyone, because I won't be able to show it to you. So we'll learn primitive numbers. We'll learn divisible by 3. So the question is the following. Find all 4-digit primitive numbers divisible by 3. How many of them are there? Find all 4-digit primitive numbers divisible by 3. How many of them are there? Are there any questions, or I will divide you in groups? Okay. So, you know that it is possible to divide automatically. So I will just create 10 groups. And I would, so once you get an invitation, please click on it. Okay. Normally you will be 5 in a group, but there are some groups with 4. Please click on it. And I will wait until everyone is away from this room. Please go to your groups.
I cannot hear you.
Please go to the rooms. There are not many people who didn't go to their rooms.
Yes, because I don't know how you made the breakout rooms. I think these people are not allocated. Bună seara, mă auziți în... Suntem în cameră acum 12 persoane, 11 persoane, mă auziți?
Da, spuneți, vă rog.
Vreau să știu de ce nu vă găsiți camera în care trebuie să intrați.
Păi gata.
Gabriela Bianca, mă auzi? Mihaela Mihoc, Marcela Barbu, Claudiu Cristian, Mădălina Maria, Virga Liliana, cred, și Șandor Nicoleta. Vă regăsiți camerele? Mă auziți?
Da.
Bună seara!
Bună seara, era închisă camera. Este închisă, nu puteam să o deschid.
Și acum o puteți deschide?
Abia am deschis microfonul.
Aveți o... Trebuie să intrați într-o cameră. Este camera 4. Ați fost alocată pe o cameră. Dacă puteți să vedeți...
Nu pot deschide, nu se poate.
Nu camera video, sunteți alocată, deci toată sesiunea de 60 de oameni s-a împărțit în 8 camere virtuale și ați fost alocată să intrați într-o anumită cameră.
Da.
Camera 4, cred că este. Ideea ar fi să intrați fiecare în camera în care ați fost alocați. Asta vreau să vă rog. Ați găsit mesajul? Sunteți în camera 3, doamna Cristina Timofte. Marcela Barbu are microfonul deschis, deci poate ne auzim.
Da, vă aud, dar cred că am ratat momentul cu camera.
Trebuie să aveți un mesaj undeva să vă apară. Da, sunteți în camera 1.
Camera 1?
Mhm.
Nu intru acolo.
Păi numai dumneavoastră puteți să vedeți asta. Eu nu pot decât să văd unde e alocat fiecare.
Nu cel mai alocați rămân aici.
Ar fi frumos să intrați acolo, căci probabil se discută niște lucruri în fiecare cameră și apoi se sparg camerele și ne întâlnim cu toții, știți?
Da, știu principiul, dar nu mi-apar.
Și camera 1 nu e decât o singură persoană, deci o doamnă singură. Pe care probabil că o să o mut eu în camera 3. Căci este... Chiar e singură acolo. Ar trebui să aveți undeva dreapta, sus, nu-mi dau seama cum apare treaba asta.
Nu mai mi-apare nici chat-ul.
Șandor Nicoleta, sunteți în camera 6 alocată.
Acum am văzut.
Vă rog, intrați. So, Mikhail, what I'm trying to do here, open your microphone, please. I try to see where, in which rooms they are allocated, and some of them cannot join the room, so I actually...
If you click on breakout session, below you have 4 squares.
Join breakout room, Andrea. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can reallocate them there. And if new people come, then you can allocate them to some room.
Mikhail, please go in room 4. People need you there. They just hijacked me, and I will see there are 2 more people in the waiting room and see what's going with them. V-am pierdut? Nu vă aud. O să vă mut eu într-o altă cameră. O să vă duc în camera 2. Acum, doamna Cristina Timofte. Trebuie să vă apară un mesaj. Nu știu unde v-a apărut mesajul, dacă asta cumva îmi spuneți, pentru că nu vă aud ce spuneți. Nu vă aud. Cred că e de la ce aveți așa și scoteți-le și din computer. Ok, Nicoleta Șandor. Nicoleta Șandor, ar trebui să fiți în camera 6, dar toată lumea a ieșit de acolo pentru că nu ați fost acolo. Mihaela Mihoc, ar trebui să fiți în camera 9. Maria Belbe, you should be in room 5. Do you hear me? Hello? Deci, în acest moment, participanții sunt împărțiți în 10 camere și în fiecare cameră au câte o temă de rezolvat. Sunt curioasă să vedem cu ce se întorc când se închid camerele. Deci ce ați reușit? Ați intrat în cameră? Doamna Timofte, ați reușit? Nu, n-ați intrat în cameră. Doamna Timofte, dacă puteți să vreau să vă aud microfonul. Nu vă aud. Dați microfonul jos, în partea stângă jos.
Acum, abia acum am reușit. Mulțumesc tare, tare mult. Mă pot duce în camera?
În camera 2 ar trebui să vă duceți.
Da, mă duc acum.
Perfect.
Join Breakout Room, da. Mulțumesc.
Bună seara! Nu vă aud. Stânga jos.
Mulțumesc.
Toți participanții, suntem vreo 60, sunt aliniați în anumite camere și o să vă aloc într-o cameră. Sunteți de acord să intrați, să vedeți ce fac ei acolo?
Da, sigur.
Okay.
Dau join aici, da? Mulțumesc frumos, îmi cer scuze că am intrat așa târziu, dar am avut o zi specială, știam că e de la 7 și abia mi-am adunat puțin energia pe care o mai am să intru.
Bine, eu sper să vă relaxați.
Da, mulțumesc frumos, să rămână.
Bine.
Să rămână, să rămână.
La revedere. I'm here.
Very good. Actually, it's working quite well. So I'm now in all these documents, and
I have two more people here, but I think they are not next to the computer, so we can skip them.
Yeah.
And I reallocate people in some rooms because.
The others know what they're. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Room 1 and 6 are having no one, so for you to know, not to go there.
Thank you. Yeah. That's also easier for me because I have all these documents now open.
Yes. How can I help? What should I do?
Actually, I suggest that we finish because I think we don't have a lot of time, and I think all of them now experienced how it works.
Okay, so you just tell me how long you want to give them, and I can close all the rooms.
You can close already because they will have 1 minute to go away. I think it's enough. I think it's okay.
So close it now, yeah?
Yeah, you can close now.
Okay, I did it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it takes one minute.
Yeah, sure.
Good. So hello, welcome back.
Hello.
Suntem primii?
Sunteți primii, da. Primii care ați ieșit din cameră, nu știu altceva.
Semânează premiile.
So 1-0. Now everybody's back.
Yes, very good.
Perfect.
Hello. And so sorry for so much mathematics today. couldn't do better. Well, I could ask you about the Dostoyevsky roman, but I'm not sure. So thank you very much that you do it. You can imagine that also with the children at the beginning, you have a lot of technical things. I started only with children who are age 9 or higher. I don't do something of this like with age 8 because they just lost in the technicalities. And of course, the first time it wouldn't work very good. The second time it would work okay. But from the third time, it's a very, very nice game. You can see it. It's very competitive, but it is not competitive in the sense I'm better than the other, but it's just the feeling it's going on. I solved this exercise, I solved another exercise, I solved another exercise, and we are a team. Of course, you adjust the level. So if you see it's difficult at the beginning, you give much easier exercises so that they have like the points, they come to 6, then you write great, you have the 6, and then you give the difficult exercise.
Mikhail, can I interrupt you a second, please? Can you explain what the rooms had to solve for the people on YouTube and for the people who will watch this material later on because they couldn't join us? Thank you.
Let me show you some examples. Actually, I'm very glad with you as the students because you did a lot of good things. So we had, well, actually there was a first question, which I think one of the teams solved perfectly. Yes, there was one team which solved perfectly the first task. So they put all the numbers, the primitive numbers. There was a task which was to be solved. And then you get this file where you can write it. And this file, the people in the team can work on it together. And I, as a teacher, can also see what is going on. So one group did a good job. So when I write very good, so solve the next one with the unicorn. Then there is another question, which was there. So the rest was not there. It was just this question. Then they solved it using an equation, very good. And now they get the points. Actually, by that moment, they had to have already 7 points, but somehow I forgot. And then they got another task. And they started to solve it, and they haven't solved it. But otherwise, they would get another points, and so on. So it's a carousel, new tasks, and you get new points. By the way, for everyone who are maybe not that familiar with Germany or with Prussia, I think you say it. Well, you know, the north part of Germany was Prussia. This task is a bit a joke, but it's a historical joke because it was indeed so that all the kings there, they were called either Friedrich or Wilhelm or Friedrich Wilhelm. So there were indeed only these 3 names, which is, yeah, but I don't know that if they like tea or not. Yes, do you want me to explain something more or was it enough?
Yeah, it was interesting what kind of exercises you shared today. Yeah.
So when I come back to the ideas, as you see, there is not a lot of things I could tell you. So the first thing here, the level is important. Pictures, don't worry if you do less than offline. And then I introduce you to this game of carousel. What is regatta? I can shortly explain it. Maybe it will be not very clear. Regatta is very similar in terms that you also have teams. You also have Google Documents, but a team gets 3 exercises at once. They solve the exercises. It's perfect if it's a team of 3 because everyone can do their exercise. They have like 10 minutes. They write down their answers. Then you invite everyone back together. So everyone is back together. And then you solve the exercises. So they immediately see how good they were. Then you again divide them in the same teams and you give 3 further exercises and they have a bit more time. If at the beginning it was 10 minutes, now they have 15 minutes. They solve it, write down the answer, come back together. You solve all the exercises for them. You divide them for the 3rd time. The same teams, 20 minutes, again 3 exercises, a bit more difficult. They solve, come back, you give the solution, and then you count the points. The regatta is better because in regatta you can teach more. So if I have some topic which I want to teach them, I explain it at the beginning, and then I play regatta, giving them 3 easy exercises. They solve them, but maybe they don't know the solution, but they hear the solution afterwards. And then I send them back for the new exercises. And then they are a bit more difficult, but they can practice the same method. Then they come back for the 3rd time, they practice the same method. So carousel is better more for fun, or maybe for the topics you already discussed a lot. They just have to repeat. Regatta is better for new topics where you want them to practice maybe similar methods. And if it's what a bit too fast, I understand it. So maybe we can somehow, well, I have a lot of books on it in Russian, but I think actually in the mathematical world, it is surely also very well known in Romania. I finished with the part of my lecture, which took a bit longer. Maybe we first start with the questions on the topics I told today.
We have already several questions from YouTube. We can start with those. They are in the chat. Do teachers need to know psychology in order to make interesting classes? And if the teacher can't make a class interesting, can the students do it?
Oh, very good question.
That's a tricky one.
Yes, so I will start with the first one. I think, yes, I think that the teacher has to know a lot of psychology, and you know it better than me. You will know it while teaching. I mean, you don't have to go to the university to study it, because it's not about maybe there. I have heard there are 600 models of the human psychology. I don't think that we need 600 models, but I think that we need this psychological experience. But I would emphasize some different thing. Well, again, sorry, it's very banal. You know it much better than me, but still I would like to tell it. You have to love your children. You have to love the subject and the children. And if you love the subject and the children, you are very careful about the children. You learn with ages. So I can say in my first year, I was a very bad teacher. My second year, I was a bit better teacher. So with years, you get a better teacher. You cannot study it at the university. But psychology, you need to look at a child as a person and to understand what it is a person, what does this person need? How can I help this person? So I think we are servants in a good sense, not doing some kind of service. This I don't like. When we are talking about education as a service, you buy it. I think we don't like this. But a servant, in the sense that we try to serve the students, I think this is very important. As for the second question, indeed, I think it's very important to involve students into the classes, especially the older students. Of course, you cannot expect it from 5th grade, 6th grade, but when they are 10th grade, of course, you have to involve them. I have a lot of students who tell me what are the new methods, what are the new areas where you can do something like Discord or TikTok. I know teachers who are doing literature in TikTok, or they are doing some Instagram from Eugene Onegin. So they say, let's imagine that Tatiana had an Instagram. How would she do it? So of course, it is something which comes from students more than from us, but this is important.
And another question, if a student is naughty, what methods could you recommend in order to make him stop?
Very good question. So I have only experience with small groups. My biggest groups are 15 students. It's a luxury. I know most of you have to do with 25, 30 students. I also don't have a lot of naughty students, I should say. I have students who are very passive. Of course, everyone has students who just turn off the camera. Maybe they answer when you ask, but sometimes they even don't answer if you ask. So one thing, don't worry. You cannot do everything. It is really important. You are a teacher, of course you are in charge, you are caring. I mean, you are spending your Friday evening coming to a seminar. You are caring a lot, but you cannot do everything. This is another person behind the screen. You don't have the power to let it do everything you want. So if someone is naughty, I would say it once, I would say it twice, I would say it 3 times. Jesus says we have to how do you say it, excuse 7 times 70, so 490 times. It's quite a lot, 490 times. I'm not sure we have to excuse 490 times. So I think after 3 times, I would just expel the student. I would say, so you see, we are in different rooms. I cannot say something, but you are disturbing my class, so go away. And I will just expel him from the class. And I think it's normal. We are adult people to put borders. We are lecturers without borders, but as a teachers, we have to put borders. It is our task. I'm not a father, but if I am a father, I have to put borders for my child. As a teacher, I have to do the same. And sometimes it's just stop. More than that, I cannot allow.
I think the participants can also ask the questions. Just maybe it's an obvious thing, but still. Or I would ask maybe the teachers, what are the biggest challenges during this online learning and homeschooling time for you? What was the most difficult thing?
Okay, as about me, from the very beginning, it was challenging and stressful. I mean, switching on online system, right? It was really stressful. But time passed, and now we feel more relaxed as the process is evolving. Really, there are lots of possibilities, resources, enormous resources you can use via internet. Zoom platform provides us opportunity to use multiple, let me say, multiple sources or methods, sharing, splitting into or breaking into groups. That works perfectly. Now, as you have split us, Michael, into groups, so we had opportunity to meet people just from different countries to find something interesting. Not only we not only solve the task you gave us, but we negotiate. We add our from our experience, from our perspective. We also just share and negotiate. That was really good. The same happens to our students. That is kind of teamwork. They feel just better team members. That is primary.
Thank you. There was a question from Mircea Cristian Nicula. What is the hardest part of teaching?
Yes.
I love teaching. I like it very much. So again, with this luxury of having smaller groups, I think for me, the hardest part is indeed the psychological part, because sometimes it's sad when some students, I know students for many years, probably as you do, and then you see how they develop. So it's a lot about patience, a lot about, having this feeling, okay, now he's naughty, he is not doing homework, he is not answering, but I believe that it will be better. Sometimes I can tell you some maybe positive examples from my life on this. I had students who lied a lot to me. And as a more experienced teacher, you see when a student is lying. But sometimes it's better not to say anything. Yeah, you just pretend as if he's not lying. And then you see that it works. You see it maybe after half a year, but you see that a student, he understands at some point that I'm not stupid, that actually I see it, but still I don't tell it to him. I also had students in strong classes where I invited new students who was very weak. And some would tell me, why do you put him in this class? Because he's weak. But in 3 years, he was the person the most interested in mathematics in this group. So I think maybe it's the hardest, to have this next step And since I already mentioned Dostoyevsky, I'm allowed to tell you this example from the brothers Karamazov, where the old Zosima, he tells that if you have a choice whether to use power or whether to use love, the caring love, he says, yeah, I don't know the British word for this. Well, the caring love, always choose the caring love. Never use power, because there is no stronger thing than the caring love. And maybe this is for me the hardest part, because it's theoretically, it is very well said. But every time you have these students, sometimes they are very naughty. And to remember, I don't use my power, which I have. And I answer the question, sometimes you put the border. So sometimes you use the power, but still keeping this caring love in yourself. This is the biggest task. It involves not only teaching, not only psychology, it involves a lot of self-development.
Thank you.
You see, there are two other questions.
Yes, I will see them. So if teaching will be only online from now on, how will you adjust your teaching methods, having objectives to be fulfilled? Yes, very good question. Thank you very much. Having objectives to be fulfilled at the end of semester. You need to change objectives. This is my main message, which is really, really important. You need to change objectives. And I know sometimes you have exams at the end of the school. We have exams in Russia, we have exams in the 9th grade and so on. But it is a matter of the Ministry of Education. I don't know if you have something like a trade union in Romania, a trade union of teachers. But as caring teachers, it is important that you organize yourself and that you bring your agenda to the ministries. Online classes cannot be as effective as offline. I believe in some future, after 5 or 10 years, of course, we will learn a lot. But now it's only 1 year of experience. 1 year of experience. It is impossible to make it in the same quality. So please really take this burden from yourself. Don't feel so responsible for this. And again, I know that in fact it's difficult, but find your colleagues, at least find your friends, colleagues, and discuss it with them. I know really a lot of examples from very good Moscow and St. Petersburg teachers in literature, in mathematics, in physics, and all of them say the same. You have to adjust, you have to do less, but maybe then you can do it deeper. And again, if I talk about literature, maybe you can read less texts, but you still try to discuss them and still try to go deeper into them. The next question, what are the disadvantages and advantages of teaching less students? I can say only one thing, it is only an advantage. Well, of course, if you have 2 students or 3 students, it is difficult because you have the group dynamics. The group should work as a group. So starting from 6 or 7 or 8, I think it's always better to have less than more. So if at some point any Ministry of Education would ask me what to do better, you need smaller classes and you also need less teaching hours. I know that a lot of you teach a lot. In Russia, there are teachers who teach like 30 classes a week. It's impossible, 30 classes a week. It's very difficult. If you teach like 20 classes, then it's okay. If you teach 15 classes, then it's perfect because you can really spend time on preparing the classes. How will you teach online to students who have to change the grade? They will have exams. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that because it depends also on the situation. My advice, discuss it with other people. I mean, we all come from the Soviet culture. I don't know how much the Soviet culture remains in Romania, in Russia, it remains quite a lot, quite strongly. And well, I'm 33 years old, so I cannot say that I have a huge experience in Soviet times, but I see that the culture still remains, which means people don't speak a lot with each other. There are some rules, there are some structures, but I experience that there is not enough exchange and freedom in this exchange. So here I would just give an example, an advice. If you have some difficult question, like you wrote, yeah, the children change from grade to grade, you have to, I don't know, you probably also don't know, so just get together with others, discuss it, and spend time on discussing. You know, someone told the planning numbers, sorry for the word, is bullshit. So you plan numbers, it never happens. But the planning process is very important, because in the planning process, you think a lot about the problem. So again, get together with others and discuss a lot. How do you evaluate your students? I give regular tests still, even if we are online. I always give some tests, so I think this is still important. So don't lose evaluation online. I know there are some smart methods like SurveyMonkey or something special. To be honest, I don't use it. I always ask students to like make a photo and send me the photo, or send me per email or WhatsApp. So they send me a lot. And I also do a lot of oral exams. Like again, I divide them in breakout rooms, sometimes one person per room. Then I give some written exercise, but then I also come to the room and talk to them in person so that I can assess how good they are. What about the relations teachers, students, parents? I think it's very important. Again, if you have 10 classes, in each class you have 30 students, you have 300 students. I understand it's very difficult, but maybe it's fine sometime, I don't know, once a year. I myself, I have only 70 students, all. So I only teach 70 students. And then of course I have very personal contact to the parents. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to spend time on it if you have time, because it's also, I mean, you know, a student doesn't live only in school, it lives at home, it lives on the street, so it's important to be somehow there. And here again, the Soviet school was very good. I know that in Russia, teachers would visit parents. Sometimes it was maybe too authoritarian, but understanding the importance of connection is very important. I can tell you that in Germany, there is this connection, but it's only on a formal level. So there is some structures like as you have to talk to the parents, but there is no real connection, real being together with the parent. So I think in this sense, our cultures are maybe more helping. How can we properly evaluate our students now, having in mind the fact that they help each other while having tests? Yes, very good question. You cannot rely on them not writing down, not Googling, of course. It's a bit a problem, I know. So first you have to make problems which cannot be easily Googled, which means, for example, there are a lot of tasks in mathematics which is a text in every textbook, so it's easily Googled. So I just change this exercise with Friedrich Wilhelm and Friedrich Wilhelm. It was another, actually completely different names, but they were in Russian. So I had to change it to another names, and even it already helps. And then, yes, you have to always think of creative methods, which are different methods than the ones we used. But I would also not control a lot. I think it's always in vain. I think it doesn't help a lot. So better agree on this fact that they can Google, and then just keeping it in mind, think of a work. Why do you say that oral examinations are not useful? This I don't understand, because an oral examination, person in person, it cannot be cheated. Bianca Gabriela, so you are here in the group. You can maybe tell it.
Yes.
Why do you? Yep.
For example, when they have to speak about, I don't know, Mihai Eminescu, it's a great Romanian poet, yeah? And I want that student to tell me about him. He can read, in fact. I am with him, but he looks in my eyes, but in fact, he puts notes on his screen, and he just gives me the impression that he looks at me. In fact, he or she reads.
I see, but I will answer. Maybe you won't like my answer, but I think this exactly what you mentioned now, which is completely true. It is exactly the point where we can make our teaching more creative. I know it's important to know when he lived and where he was born and so on. I would say exactly the same about Pushkin. But now we cannot do it, as you say. We cannot check it, really. So we need to ask different questions. We need to talk maybe less, maybe more about the area in the time when he was there. So you cannot ask facts, because facts can be easily cheated. You should ask things where the student has to think it over.
I understand.
In mathematics, for me, it's much easier because I ask less theory, I'll ask more practice. In literature, somehow the same. So you talk more about his poems, less about his biography.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe, thank you very much. I think we are almost out of time. Maybe I can use the time to introduce our organization, like 5 minutes, and tell you what you can do to join our organization, because, well, we are called Lectures Without Borders, which means we want to create a community of people. I will show you our website. Just a second. I don't know if someone of you have already seen this website, Lectures Without Borders, or shortly levibo.org. So what we do, we enable scientists firing high school students, which means, well, at the beginning, it was an organization for traveling scientists. So if a scientist would go to another country, we would connect them with a school, and they would go in the evening to give a lecture in a school. Of course, now traveling is in parentheses because we give more webinars. So you are all from different schools. I would ask you to register as a school. If you click here, register as a school, do you see a new window, or you don't see it? Okay, I think I will have to show the new window separately. Now you see the new window. Anna, could you please nod or?
Yes, is it seen?
Okay, so this is actually, there are not so many questions. It is actually very easy. And then you just submit. Anastasia, who is here and who is coordinating all our schools, will answer you very soon. And we will take your school, or you personally as a teacher, to our database, and then we will be able to organize different lectures with you. It is all for free. So we are completely a non-profit organization. It is everything for free. And what you can then do, after you register, you go to the, so for example, you can see our scientists who are giving lectures. So here are a lot of scientists who give different lectures on different topics: mathematics, social scientists, engineering, biology, medicine, computer science, planetary science, climate, and so on. Mostly it is natural science, but also we have some social scientists. And then if you go to the lectures, you can see a webinar catalog. So there are a lot of webinars we can give to you. climate change and climate detectives. And there is the speaker, there is a lecturer. So you can see a person, and you can, oh, sorry, if you go back to lectures, and after you see it, you can request a webinar. So again, the idea is that you can invite some scientist to your school who will talk about some topic. The scientist can talk about his specific job. The scientist can talk about his science field, or you can just make some meeting like meet a scientist. Because for high school students, it's always good to see, can I meet a scientist? Anastasia, maybe you want to add something?
No, I just want to say that for the past year, we have been working a lot with Net-Yaplin Education and First Tech Challenge Romania, together with Gabriela and now with Anna also. And we have organized many webinars for associations, but we are happy to work both through associations to do and to arrange open webinars for many teachers, for many high school students from different schools, or we can also bring a scientist into a classroom, into a virtual classroom now of particular school. And for sure, we all hope for pandemic to be over and to be able to switch to the offline modus, which means that at some point we hope to bring real scientists to real classrooms. But for now, we are all working online, and the advantage of this is that there is no need to wait till the scientist happens to be in the region. We just connect it all online, and sometimes it helps to do really across the world, because now we are working with an Indonesia school, and the scientist will be giving the lecture from Chile. And it's exactly 12 hours time difference, but still we can find some window that's useful for both sides. So that's actually what I wanted to add.
What I want to add is that next week we'll have another lecture. That time you will hear something about the abilities for the future, not jobs of the future, but what abilities kids would be good to train. So hope we'll see all of the audience from tonight next week on 18. So on Thursday is it going to be. I will share the link on our Facebook group on Facebook, and yes.
And the speaker is an entrepreneur and educator next time. And thank you very much, Anna, for organizing this meeting today and the meeting of the next week. We will be happy to see you again soon.
Thank you for the opportunity, and for sure we will discover other subjects which might be interesting for teachers, because we wanted to launch a series of workshops for teachers, because we've paid attention to students up to now, but I said, well, why not something for teachers? So thank you very much, Mikhail and Anastasia, sorry. And for all the guests from outside of Romania, and I'm very pleased to see the teachers from our robotics teams tonight here. And thank you, you've spent an hour and a half with us, almost 2 hours. And see you.
Ask one question, maybe, which is again the way I work with students. Can you please show me? The question is how useful it was, not how good or how bad. So please don't worry about saying that it was completely not useful. So 5 would mean it was very useful for me, and I can use what I told you. And this would mean it was completely not useful, and something in between is something in between. Can you please show it with the hand? Okay, just keep it for some time because I want to see all of you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy. And it was really an honor for me because you are a lot of experienced teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a nice